The Denver Broncos defense is about to make a massive leap forward going into next year. Ask anyone in the NFL and they'll tell you that the biggest leap you see in an individual player and in a coach's scheme is between year 1 and 2. And I am predicting that Vance Joseph's system is going to be implemented, and we are all going to need to send him apology letters for wanting him fired after that 70 burger he let the Miami Dolphins drop on us last year. I have some amazing tweets from players on the defensive line in particular who just rave about this new system that Vance Joseph is implementing and started to implement on our 5-game win streak last year, and just how great that is going to be with the talent improvements we've had. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben. I break down all things Denver sports. Helps me out a ton if you like the Denver Broncos, if you would click that like and subscribe button. So we know that good coaches, their systems don't change overnight, and that typically great coaches, it takes a while for the guardrails to not just be on so tight. We even heard Sean Payton say, like, year 1, he was walking around peeing on trees. Now he has a lay of the land, and now he's establishing his offense with no guardrails. Well, if you look at Vance Joseph's career, and I know we like to laugh him out of town because we fired him as our head coach, but look at all of his stops and what he did as a defensive coordinator in Miami, what he did as defensive coordinator with the Arizona Cardinals, and it was always a slow build to a fantastic team. It was the Cardinals that hit in his second year. He was hired in 2019, like that, right before Christmas break, and it wasn't till the 2021 season that they ended up being like top 10 defense in the entire NFL. And we're predicting that same exact thing because according to Zack Allen, our 3-4 defense is going to look completely different. It is going to be all attack. It is all gas, no break. And we're going to talk about why that is so good with the defensive personnel that we have. So he came out, awesome article written in the Denver Gazette. Highly recommend you all look at that. I'm going to point out a couple things on here and then show the personnel that are really going to be implementing this. But basically he said, last year we were reading a lot of blocks. Now our job is, as soon as that ball is snapped, we are into the backfield, and it's a lot cleaner. And he talked about it being flashy and exciting, and all the players in there who are all here for this new attack style defense. So, Zack Allen, we had high hopes of. He was pegged as the what do they call him, a mini J.J. Watt, because he played alongside him in Arizona. And he played awesome. We gave him the bag, and he was amazing. And we're going to take a look at some of his highlights here. But he's talking about how this new system, because we now have a new defensive line coach, Jamar Cain, who also led the LSU Tigers to playoffs and has 20 years of coaching experience with top-end programs. And so people seem extremely excited for him and this new defensive system that jives a lot better with what Vance Joseph wants to do. So it's an attack style for this 3-4 defense. So last year it was kind of reading blocks. Now it's just get vertical as quick as you can. And we saw that last year in the run game in particular, that the ball was snapped and defensive linemen are looking up, reading the backfield. And now the difference is the ball is snapped and they are making their move to the backfield. And they know when they get there, good things are going to happen. And so we heard Vance Joseph talk about the fact that our run game was so porous last year was missed tackles. And so that's all, there's no hesitation being coached into these players anymore. And so they're not looking in the backfield to see what's going on. They're picking their head up and going straight towards the backfield to hit a running back in the back or hit the quarterback. So that's exciting. This is the system that he played at under Vance Joseph, Zack Allen, when he was baby J.J. Watt. And also, this is the same system that DJ Jones played when he was in San Francisco, and the same system that Malcolm Roach also wants to play. And then most excitingly is that this is also the same system that John Franklin-Meyer wants to play coming in as well. And Zack Allen goes on and just talks about how excited he is to be joining John Franklin-Meyer, that they kind of were in a cult of mutual admiration and we're always texting each other about each other's game. And so now they're talking about their ability to bookend DJ Jones in the middle, who we've talked about a ton. He eats up a ton of double teams and looks fantastic. And then knowing that backing him up is Malcolm Roach, one of the best pass run stoppers in the NFL. And so I just think our defensive line goes from being a huge, huge problem to being a great thing. And just looking here at the talent here. So here's some Zack Allen film from his time in this system where his job was just, hey, you're not reading the backfield. You are getting to the quarterback, and you're seeing him against Mahomes here. Again, not read and react. It's react, and you're immediately getting upfield towards the quarterback, and good things are happening when you do that. And then just seeing, when he was able to play like that here with the Denver Broncos, and this was later on in the season once we'd started kind of implementing this system, and you just see great things happen here. And then obviously I think to the other end of this book, if you got Zack Allen on one side and John Franklin-Meyer on the other side, and just watching him handle a great tackle right there and just sack the quarterback with his own tackle, that would feel absolutely unreal to see that flying out of the backfield. Other cool part about this article was that both Zack Allen and John Franklin-Meyer were invited to a pretty elite pass camp that's getting put on by Coach Brandon Jordan, who also is coming to Denver to do some clinics just with those two guys in particular. And knowing that he's the guy who famously works out Von Miller and works with some of the best rushers in the entire game. So that's a really, really exciting thing to see. The other thing in that article that I thought was interesting was he really talked up a guy who I wasn't even sure was going to make the squad here with Matt Henningsen, and just remembering his sack from last year and his ability to get upfield immediately. That could be a really cool thing for the Denver Broncos. So let me know what you think of those defensive linemen. Do you agree that this went from being a position of like, yikes, we have a rough defense, to now being the Denver Broncos defense of old that we're used to hanging our hats on as Denver Broncos fans? That has me extremely excited that if this Broncos defense can be a top 15 squad, and you were talking about Pat Surtain, McMillan, Riley Moss, I'm super high on. I feel great about our safeties and their ability with PJ Locke and Brandon Jones and JL Skinner. Like, we really have one big question mark on this team, and that's the position of, with Josie Jewell leaving for the Carolina Panthers, who is going to step into that? And we're going to break down a couple of the candidates in tomorrow's video, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss that. But is that Jonas Griffith? Is that Cody Barton from the Seattle Seahawks? It will be very, very interesting to see how all of that plays out. Last bit of news I just have to share here is that I think we need to thank Courtland Sutton for how he is handling this entire contractual dispute. One of the craziest things I've seen in my time of just being an avid football fan is all this stuff going down with Brandon Ayuk and his desire to leave the San Francisco 49ers, and just the drama that is causing to a program that everyone has really, really high hopes on. And all of the stuff hitting Twitter right now is that he desperately wants to join his friend Jaden Daniels in Washington with the Commanders, and that even those two together show up on ESPN sets and hop on podcasts together, and they're FaceTiming each other and throwing on TikTok about how they want to join each other, and kind of dogging the 49ers on all of that content that they're putting out there. And it just shows a level of maturity that we have and can be thankful for with Courtland Sutton. And also with like Bo Nix, I don't picture Bo Nix like finding a bestie and then trying to get that team to trade his best friend. And so I think the culture in Denver is in a great, great place, and we are very, very, we have a lot to believe in. Oh yeah, proof is in the pudding. Never miss.